It was exactly 1 year ago that I reviewed the BYD Seal just over there, and that video alone got over 1 million views, which was insane and definitely sparked a conversation in the comments. But here today, I'm standing next to the BYD Sealion 7, which is basically its bigger brother. And seeing as I reviewed the Tesla Model Y recently, which is still fresh in my head, this is its Chinese rival. So, is it any good in 2025 going on 2026? There's only one way to find out. Let's check it out. Now, if you've never heard of BYD before, they are, let's just say, selling a lot of cars in certain countries. They're becoming quite a popular brand in countries like Australia and certainly in China. And they're heading for us in the UK and some other countries over on the western side of the world. And some, of course, don't even want to touch a Chinese car. But having said that, some brands out there like BYD are doing a lot more behind the scenes than you might think. Have you even noticed all the London buses in the UK? All of them pretty much have BYD on them now. Whether you're into their cars or anything, they also manufacture a lot of batteries. So they are a silent and deadly manufacturer that's slowly taking over, whether you like it or not. Now this, as I mentioned, is the BYD Sealion 7. So it's the Seal's bigger brother, and quite handily as well, I've got pretty much the same colour car as I had last year. I actually quite like the design of this one. It's like very much like the Tesla Model Y, where it's like an SUV and a coupe together. And this even has 2 spoilers on the back, which is a bit interesting. But most importantly, it has that slopey roofline. So we'll check out the practicality and that sort of thing. And of course, take it for a drive. And yes, we will be launching this car because it's pretty fast. Now, BYD have done something different on the front of their car. You'll notice that a lot of EVs now just have a light bar on the front, but they've not kind of opted for that on this one, although there is a light bar at the back. But on the front, you've got lights here. And of course, there is a Frunk, which we'll get onto in a minute as well. And a lot of their design language is based on ocean aesthetics. That's kind of what they go with. So BYD Seal, BYD Sealion 7, BYD Dolphin, BYD Dolphin Surf. These are all models that BYD offer. And if you look at some of their designs on the inside as well, they use some of these ocean design cues for their interior design as well. The only thing I don't like about the outside is their kind of overuse of those harsher plastics. So you've got this kind of scratchy plastic down here, and then there's a big chunk of it on the rear as well. But yeah, I think the best angle from this car is the rear. Look at this, it's brilliant. You've got the 2 spoiler design here. There is no rear wiper, so obviously I'm guessing at BYD are hoping that the air channeling this way through here will push the water back this way, but there's a heated rear window anyway, and of course reversing camera for parking. Although I will admit the visibility is a little restrictive, but we'll kind of go through some of that stuff in a minute. But yeah, design wise, I think it's absolutely brilliant. If it didn't have BYD written there or any of the names there, I think this would pass for like a Porsche or something, because the rear looks stunning. Yes, this bit down here is a lot of plastic down here, but the top bit, brilliant, really like it. Now, just before we cover price, I just wanted to quickly go through their trims, because they do something which I find really, really refreshing. And a load of you guys who watched the BYD Seal review last year, you guys also found it interesting as well, because these guys do a very similar thing to what Tesla do in terms of not having too many options to choose when building one. You literally just have 3 options. So on their website, they have comfort, design, all-wheel drive, and excellence all-wheel drive. Now for reference, the one I have here is the design, so it's not their top of the line one. Now the starting price of this car is £47,000 in the UK, so it's slightly more expensive than the current pricing of the Tesla Model Y, but they have such similar dimensions, and they also, most importantly, have very, very similar range figures as well. So that's what I mean, they are so similar. Let's keep looking. Okay, so when we get onto the boot, of course it's all electric, which you can do with the key. 520 litres is what you see here, but you can actually get the rear compartment to go to 1,789 litres, which is pretty good. That is, of course, folding the seats down. The one drawback I found with living with this car for the past week is there's no switch. Usually on cars around this sort of price, there would usually be a form of switch here or some form of release for the back, but I haven't seen one, so you have to do it from the rear seats. But having said that, when it's all done, 1,789 litres, so that is pretty good. If you include the Frunk, then the total storage capacity goes to about 1,847 litres, so almost Tesla's Model Y kind of capacity, because that's around 2,100 litres, around about that, so almost there. It's just it's a little bit more slopey at the back. And I should add, there's a bit of storage space under there as well for a small, really small bag. Nice to see, bit of space under there. Apart from that, I didn't really see anything else worth noting in the rear. So, with that in mind, let's quickly show you the frunk, then we'll jump inside. Now, to do the frunk, we need to release the bonnet, which is under here. And it's 2 latches, or 2 pulls to release it. And then, here we go. Now, I do have to apologise. I did clean the car yesterday, and I forgot to do here. So it's a little bit grubby. So that's on me. But that is 58 litres for the frunk there, so good to see. I don't know why all EVs don't have a frunk, because some car brands and manufacturers don't for some reason. But yep, there is one in the Sealion 7. Windscreen wash over there, so pretty standard really. And there even looks to be kind of like a, almost like a car mat for the frunk. So yeah, there we go. For those really interested, really technical, there was a drain hole plug for the Model Y. I'm not sure why you'd have water in there, but just in case something spilled in there for something, you can drain it, but there is no drain hole in this one. So if you did have something in there that did spill, there was liquid that escaped from a drink or something, or whatever reason, I mean, it's watertight, so it won't be rain, but yeah, you'd have to somehow absorb it out with a cloth or scoop it out. So just worth noting. Okay, that is pretty much the exterior. Let's jump into the rear seats and show you the materials, build quality, and of course, we're going to take it for a drive as well. Now, I've been driving all this time and not actually sat at the back, so let's check it out. Oh, let's sort the headrest out. Look at that. Look at this legroom. This is really good. This is my driving position, so I've been very comfortable with that as it is. Really good headroom as well. Also, these seats do seem to be reclining back. Oh, I'll tell you what, you can actually adjust them. Look, there's a thing here, the same lever that you use to fold them down. So obviously that's quite vertical, and then you can have them reclined back all the way. So I actually find them quite reclined back quite a lot, so maybe about there might be better. Yeah, that's a bit better. So yeah, the panoramic roof is amazing. It's huge in this. There is a blind, which is good. In terms of everything else, we have a bit of storage in there. Not sure what you put in there, but I mean, there's a little cubby hole there and fancy cup holders here. So we've got heated seats, which is nice. Not all cars have that in the rear. 2 USB-C charging ports there. Looks like one's faster than the other. Door pockets, they're on the smaller side, but fine. And then there's storage on the rear of the seats there as well. Now, when it comes to build quality, it's really surprising on BYDs. You kind of think that it's going to be hard plastics everywhere, but they're really not. You can see here, it's got that really nice squidgy leather that you find on premium cars. And yeah, everywhere. There's a bit of plastic there in the door, but the materials used and the seats are actually really comfortable, which is nice. I will say that this is slightly digging into my back there and doesn't seem to go any higher, but having said that, it's still really nice. But yeah, I'd quite happily do a road trip in the back here. The one thing that is weird is the door handle, because normally you pull this way, but in these you have to pull up like that. I'll tell you what it is. It's probably BYD's and their like ocean-inspired design language that I mentioned earlier. It's probably, they'll probably say it's like a flipper or something like that off a dolphin. But yeah, that is a bit different than that. I just noticed a bit of ambient lighting under there as well. Cool. Well, yeah, that's the back. Show you the front. All right, guys. So looking at the front here, of course, we have this massive 15.6-inch screen here, which does rotate. So of course, if you've seen BYD reviews before, you'll know this is a common thing. They put this in every car. So let's get that out of the way with first. Yes, you can spin the whole screen round. It's quite cool. You kind of show it off as like a party piece, but then once you live with it for the week, you just kind of leave it in your preferred orientation. So yeah, you can do that. But yeah, 15.6-inch screen, that is laptop size. So that's traditionally what a 15-inch laptop is. So you imagine just putting a keyboard here. it's a big screen, and CarPlay on it looks absolutely insane because it's just so big, completely fills the screen. So yes, this does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so that is good. There are USB-C ports down there, but we'll go through the kind of amenities and storage kind of things in a second. Let's just go through the kind of design in here. So we have the same handles that the rear doors had with this weird flipper design thing. In terms of what it actually feels like, the doors actually do feel really, really solid. Same sort of materials used in the back, but I mean, have a listen. You'll have to excuse me though, there's a big tractor that's decided to cut grass over there, so you may hear it mowing, so apologies. But yeah, have a listen to the door. Feels pretty solid. Leather materials here, all these squidgy leather there. So in terms of the actual build quality, it is pretty good. And I will say, a little spoiler for when we go out on the road, it is silent in here. As in, I think this actually rides better than the BYD Seal, but we will take this on some twisty roads and I'll let you know my thoughts on that. So let's go through a quick tour then. So we have a big storage bin just in there. So yeah, that goes all the way down in there, right down to the bottom. Cup holders here, and what is quite clever with this, I've not seen this before, you can put in a longer cup and it goes all the way down there. So if you had a really tall Starbucks, Costa, champagne glass or something, I don't know, that goes down there, and to bring it back up you just press these buttons and they come back up. I've not seen that before, so that's a bit unique. Then of course here we have a few central controls with the gear stick here, so reverse, neutral, drive, park, different drive modes, different regen modes, start, stop, and of course climate control buttons on there. We also have 2 wireless chargers here. One of them goes up to 50 watts, which is pretty insane. I'm not actually sure I've seen a wireless charger in a car go up to that, and that's probably one of the reasons why there's a fan there to keep it cool. And then glove box, can't forget him. Yeah, that's a decent size as well, lined with a nice material on the inside. So yeah, all round pretty good. And then the seats as well, I've got to say they're actually really, really comfortable. I quite like the design of them. They certainly do hug you very well, almost in the kidneys here. Me being 6'2" with long legs, that's why I have to sit in this position, otherwise my knees hit the steering wheel. But yeah, otherwise it's pretty good. Steering wheel adjustment is manual, so there's no electric option for that, but that's got plenty of adjustment there, so I'll have him about there, I think. So yeah, all round, quite a nice plush interior really, and certainly the seats as well, they're ventilated and cooled on this model as well. So speaking of, let's go through this screen and a few things you can adjust on this. Now by default when you jump in each day it's going to look a bit like this, but as soon as you put your foot on the brake it does actually put the ignition on, but you can manually start it down here if you need to. But there's a few quick access things along the bottom here, and then we have a kind of sub menu just along the bottom, and this is how you adjust your climate control. But one thing that I found on the BYD Seal, I think it actually had slightly older software on it, because one of the criticisms I had in it was that you couldn't adjust the climate control when you were on like CarPlay and stuff. But I couldn't count the number of comments that people were like, you can use 3 fingers to adjust it on the screen. And yes, if you put 3 fingers on the screen, you can adjust the climate control just like this, up and down. So pretty good, you can hear it come on there. So you can do this on any screen from what I've seen. If you've got CarPlay on, or if you are on the home screen here, you can adjust the climate control. Now speaking of climate control, if you go in here, this shows you everything you can do with the climate control, and then you've got the vent heating, so ventilated seats and heated seats. You can turn the climate control off from here. There's a couple of adjustments down here where you can do it down here as well. So yes, it is all touch. There's an on and off for the climate control here, so you can turn it on and off there, but to physically adjust the temperature controls, you have to do it down here. There is a voice assistant as well, so you can do it via that. But in terms of everything else, of course, we have vehicle settings, which lets you control a multitude of different things in here, from driving assistance systems, that's all in the ADAS bit there. You can view energy settings and all sorts of things. But the main thing I want to show you is in here, which shows you all the multimedia system things that you can do. So these are things you'll be using day to day, such as things like the sat-nav. Now, when I was using this over the past week, I was pleased to see that it actually had Google Maps built in. It does show you a bit more of the battery stuff, shows you what the battery is going to be when you arrive. So I'm on 99% at the moment, charged it last night on an off-peak tariff to keep it nice and cheap. Yeah, tap go, and away you go.
Please observe the applicable traffic regulations.
Jesus, yeah, that's loud. But now obviously to mute it, you can go down here that'll mute it, so that's how I prefer a sat-nav. And then you can obviously cancel it just by tapping the exit button, and it stopped. So yeah, without boring you anymore on the multimedia system, I think we ought to take this out for a drive now and let you know how it is on the road. And let me just tell you now, it's rapid. Alright guys, tech specs. So, as we're out on the road right now, and we're about to launch this in a suitable place just down the road, let's go through the tech specs. Now, charge speeds do vary slightly. It will range anything from 24 minutes to 32 minutes. It purely depends which one you go for. And I should add, that's 10 to 80% quoted on BYD specification. But obviously charging at home, you can't charge at those speeds, so it'll be about 7 kilowatts. It'll be an overnight charge, basically. What we're going to test right now is how quick this is and let you know what it's like out on the road. So let's find a suitable place to send it and let you know how it is. Alright guys, let's try this out then. So, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, it's like a roller coaster. There you go, 60. Well, that didn't take long. Well, it's definitely got some torque, I'll give you that. I think it's like over 500 horsepower when converted from the kilowatts that's on their stats page. So what's this car been like to live with for the past week? Well, seeing as I reviewed the Tesla Model Y only recently, it's been very, very interesting to jump immediately into this, having just obviously reviewed that car. Now, the Tesla Model Y is very, very firm in terms of its suspension, and I even mentioned in that review that it's a lot firmer than you'd expect for that price bracket, whereas this is a lot softer. Now, I quite like the firmness in the Model Y, I mentioned it in that video, but I think this is even more softer than I think some people expect, because certainly if you take it on like a winding road and you throw it into a corner, and certainly if you hit those bumps on certainly on our UK roads, it can be a little bit floaty and it can be a bit unpredictable about what it's doing. Now, I'm talking about driving it, you know, in a spirited way, spirited driving. For day-to-day use, it's beautiful. It rides across all the bumps, flattens everything out, and it's really nice. I'm just talking about if you're an engaged driver, you'll probably notice that it's not as firm as you might like. But go around a roundabout and yes, so quick at getting up to speed. But one thing I will add actually on the accelerator pedal is that this takes a little bit of getting used to. I've searched all the settings, so maybe if you own a BYD and you're watching this, maybe you can let me know if that's how they all are. Basically, when you go to accelerate on an EV, you usually get instantaneous acceleration. But look here, if I put my foot to the floor from not pressing anything, there's like 0.3, 0.5 of a second delay before it does anything, which I find a bit weird because usually EVs are really quick. And even if you put it in the sport mode, where are we? Sport mode there, plant my right foot, there was like just that half second. I can do that in the electric car and it not do anything. There's like that slight delay. And one other thing I want to point out as well is that you can adjust the brake recuperation on this. So there's standard and then there's high. Even if you put it on high, it doesn't brake recuperate as much. So if you are used to the term one pedal driving, I haven't found a way you can do it in this car. So it's just something to point out that if you have had an EV before and you are familiar with one pedal driving, I haven't found a way to do it, unless someone could let me know in the comments. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry. One pedal driving is a thing that some EV owners like. I personally can drive on one pedal driving, but some people don't like it. But yeah, overall, I quite like it. It's you can certainly feel it's heavy. It is quite a heavy car, but there again, of course, all that weight is quite low down because of the battery. But as you are sat a lot higher up off the floor, I can say that the rear visibility isn't amazing because of the slopey back roof. Now, that's quite common for cars that have a sporty slopey back on the rear of the car, so that's quite normal. And I can clearly see the car behind me at the moment, you know, just going around the corners. But if you are parking, obviously something to consider. Yes, it has got 360-degree cameras and things like that, but just something I thought I'd mention because the rear visibility is somewhat restrictive because of the slopey back. So all round, it's got plenty of go. It can be quite fun, but obviously if you are throwing it into corners and expecting that really engaging drive. You can see on this bumpy road here, it feels a little unsettled. It's weird that these roads are like 60, because I wouldn't dare do 60 down these roads. Oh dear, UK roads at their best. I should also add as well, there are a ton of driving assistance systems in this, and they haven't got in the way at all, I should add, from my week of testing. The only thing that gets in the way is that annoying speed warning, which I've turned off. That's up here. For example, it thinks this road right now is 50, when quite clearly I've just gone past the 60 sign and it still hasn't updated. And for those of you just seeing that message on the screen there, that is this thing, this little weird black thing, because you notice over there isn't one. Over here, this thing is constantly tracking me to make sure that I'm paying attention on the road. You can turn that off if you wish. I have had cars with that sort of tech in it before. But yeah, if you look away from, I guess, this sort of vision here for an extended period of time, it'll tell you off. So there's no openings here, so let me just test this out very quickly in a controlled way. If I just look at you for a minute and just glance back and spend a bit more time here. There you go. Within a few seconds it's saying, pay attention to the road. It's okay, I made sure there was no driveways or people were about to pull out, it's just a straight road. These are the things I test, you know, you've got to test all these tech and gadgets out, you know. Make sure that they don't intrude too much on your driving. So, let's go through those pros and cons and let you know what I really like and what I don't like about this car. Right guys, pros and cons. So here's what I like first. So overall, the spaciousness in here, and of course the sunroof, really good. Loads of storage space everywhere. It's a real competitor to the Tesla Model Y. Then it comes to the specification on the Sealion 7 range. Of course, there's 3 trims to choose from, which I mentioned earlier, but the specification you get across, generally speaking, all of them is really good, like adaptive cruise control, all the driver assistance systems like monitoring of your attention on the road and all that sort of thing, and blind spot assist. Even when you go to indicate on the left hand side, for example, it brings up a camera over here so you can clearly see. So all round, the package that you get for the price I think is actually quite good. Those are all the good things. What about the bad things? Well, I mentioned it earlier on the drive, and it's the rear visibility. I actually don't have a clue of how close I am to that bush behind. Let's put it in reverse. Ah, there's loads of room. From that view there, it looks like I'm in the bush. Now, obviously, yes, you do have 360 camera and everything here for parking. So you've got front camera, rear camera, all these different views down here. So that's pretty good. It's just that it is a little bit restrictive at the back there because of the slopey roof and the small glass. Then of course I mentioned about the suspension. I think for most people it's actually going to be completely fine because most people don't throw their car into corners. Well, some people might, spirited drivers and whatnot, or enthusiastic drivers, but it is quite smooth. It's just that if you're on a country road, and certainly like the roads I've just been driving on today and over the past few days, putting it through its paces, it is just a little bit floaty and a little bit unsettled. So as a general everyday car, really good, but if you're going to throw it into corners, it just doesn't give you the confidence, and you have to ease off the accelerator pedal just a little bit. And then the final one, it's the BYD brand. They've been around for years making batteries, and they've made cars around the other side of the world for years as well, and they're very established in Australia from what I've read in the comments as well. But here in the UK, they're still quite new. The amount of people, you'll be shocked, the amount of people that have come up to me, and even my neighbours have asked, what is that? What is BYD? Even though I had one on the drive last year when I reviewed it. But yeah, BYD is still very new. And if you ask the average person who this brand are, BYD, they probably still don't know to this day. So I guess people who really like their brands in their cars, it could take a lot of convincing to get someone to go for a BYD, despite the package actually being quite good. If you want a roomy, fast and well-equipped car, then it's worth taking a look at. I would just probably take one out for a drive and see what you think. In fact, if you guys do, let me know in the comments down below. Some of you always ask, Nick, would you buy one yourself? Yes and no. The main thing that puts me off is the car tax situation, the premium car tax situation in the UK. If you guys don't know, if the car's list price is over £40,000, you have to pay an absurd amount of tax. It's like £50 a month, like £700 throughout the year. It boils my blood. If you want to see more about that, have a look on this video right here. I made a video about that a few months ago. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, see you then.